for the second episode this year of Breaking It Down with Blue. Coach, we've been trying, and it just ain't been happening.
Correct.
So
Both a little busy at this time of the year.
yeah. Very, very, very busy, very busy. But the thing that, while we wait on you to get connected up there, because I know that's actually what you're doing right now, is
I'm sharing it, yes, sir.
getting everything shared. And I'm going to push the button here so we can make sure we're on. I don't see us there. But we're doing things a little different tonight. This is a live stream similar to what we use during the basketball games. So this is running and being simulcast on YouTube as well as Facebook. So for those of you who have not subscribed to the YouTube page, go ahead, get in on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, and you can find us at youtube.com at West Kentucky Sports Network. And we'd love to have you as a subscriber, and that will help us to be able to do things a little easier maybe eventually. And it's all about doing things easier maybe.
I'm okay with that. Efficiency is a good thing.
Absolutely. So what are we going to talk about tonight? I see you laid your phone down, so obviously everything has been shared and we're away.
Yeah, whatever you want to. Shoot from the hip, or if you got some predetermined questions, whatever. If you want to ask the audience to send stuff in, we've done that before, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, if you do have a question for Coach Blue, go ahead and send that to. You can. Are we able to send that? Can they send that through the YouTube page, Chad?
They can, but I'm not monitoring it unless you are.
Okay, I'll have to sit here and turn it on to where we can monitor that. And how we do that, I don't know, but we'll try. Either that, or I tell you what, I'll even put phone number out there. When y'all call me, it's not going to bode well, but you can text. If you have a question for Coach Blue, you can text that in to 270-625-0179. Just don't call me. I don't answer the phone.
Text only, huh?
Text only.
You might want to give it to them again.
270-625-0179. And you can send a text message in, and it'll come through on that phone. And I will be sure to ask Coach Blue your question. So, Mickey, I see you had last night. You had a bit of a fan club here, and it wasn't the Blue Crew from Webster County.
No, it wasn't my buddies. I upset a few ladies up there in the stands last night. I have a rule, and I learned this from a Marcus Smart video where he is showing how to make people stop setting picks on you, or at least think about it. Mm-hmm. And it's a rough play, but sometimes in the game people get their hands on you a little bit, and not knocking the refs. Nobody's 100%. Sometimes they hide it well. Tugging a jersey, grabbing them, whatever. And my players understand when I say, hey, if they keep doing that, slap them. And that doesn't mean slap them across the face. What it means is you take your hand and you hit down. Yes, you may get an offensive foul. Yes, you may get a foul. But what you're trying to do is send the point back to them, hey, we're not doing this. All right? Do I want them to hurt the kid? Nope. No, that's not what that's about.
Right.
It's about, hey, you're grabbing me. I'm going to show you that I'm not going to put up with it, and that's all it is. And in their defense, when they heard the word slap, I'm sure it was a mama, and she said something about surrounding me, and I made it very clear that's not a good idea for anybody tonight, because I'm rather focused I think I'm more focused this year, more amped up for these games, because I get to watch I watch more video. I feel like I'm more prepared than I was last year, and I think Skylar is too, because we hit back and forth on text messages and stuff on ideas, because he's got a new job now, but he still gets to coach.
Right.
So I'm a little intense, but I'm a competitive guy. So no hard feelings for those ladies up there in the stands. I don't like arguing with females anyway.
Right. Now in fact, now coming back to and mentioning that, where just slap them. Okay. A coach was recently heard in the stands telling her, punch him in the mouth. And I don't think he meant literally punch him.
No, he didn't. I didn't even know who you were talking about. I probably even said that, to be honest with you. Sometimes, we use the terms, hey, you might get punched in the mouth, well, you got to punch back.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us coaches that are at this level, want to punch a kid in the mouth. I mean, look, we do this because we love being a coach. I think the ones that do it for the right reason love the kids. And, I'm a fan of kids of other schools, especially working on growing up in Webster County, working in Henderson, living in Henderson, and working in Union County. I wish all those kids the best of luck. So I don't want our kids hurting another kid. That's not the message.
And you don't want your kids hurt either.
No, absolutely not.
So the last time we talked, it was what, week 1, week 2? It was right shortly after the Webster County game.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I know it was on a Saturday. I do know that.
Yes.
It was on a Saturday. And as we come up and we did the show on early Saturday morning. And since that time, a lot of things have happened. You as a coach and your team as they currently set got their first district win in forever in defeating Caldwell.
Yeah.
At Caldwell. And a very good game, very physical game. Been a lot of very physical games this year. Touch on that for just a minute with the physicality this year. And now the thing we're not going to do is we're not going to blast away at the refs, because the refs have let a lot of this go this year. And it's not just Dawson Springs games. It's not just Caldwell games. It's been Crittenden County games. It's been Lyon County games. It's been Livingston County. It's been in the first region, the second region, and the third region. Of course, the third region up there at Henderson last week, you'd have thought them kids was getting killed, because the Muhlenberg fans, more especially, I love you guys to death. I'm not picking at you. I'm not making fun, but they did not like the physicality of the game that Union County had with Muhlenberg. And there was a lot of physicality in that game. I mean, they was wearing each other out. And then the next night, University Heights was wearing them out. And they didn't like that either. So, second region seems to be a more physical region this year.
It is. And, and again, I'm not going after officials here. Matter of fact, I've changed the way I do things, because I hardly stand anymore. It's not because I'm not engaged. It's not because I don't want to. It's just I don't want to be considered an enemy. We're already, the smallest school in the region, public school, and I'm trying to create an atmosphere of no excuse. And it's tough love. It's old school love. I mean, that's the only way in my mind to change this course and start doing the things that I feel like we need to do. I still tell people the way that I'm trying to take this program, and hopefully it is Skylar, whoever's after me is going to thank me. I probably won't benefit the most from what I'm trying to accomplish here, but I'm okay with that. I'm working on, obviously, I think you've seen me post, I am going to do everything in my power to try to get us money, resources, to try to get us a auxiliary gym with a weight room. We're not going to be able to compete in this region if it stays as physical. Look, if they're consistent, okay? It's just like if you're pitching and you got a guy that's giving you 6 inches on the corner, well, as a batter, you got to adjust to that. As a pitcher, you stay with that, okay? You don't blame the coaches, you don't blame the players, because you do what you can get away with. Everybody knows that in every sport. Basketball is no different. So, for me, I've got to figure out a way to get our guys stronger, mentally stronger. With them being younger, sometimes they come to the bench complaining about the physicality. And, hey, if you're consistent, I'm good with it. I don't like it. I was not a Detroit Piston fan with the bad boys. But you know what? If that's the direction it's going, I gotta adjust, and our boys have to adjust. But see, with the weights and stuff, trying to get things for the resources for this small school, it helps all of our kids. It'll help the cross country, it'll help the track, it'll help the girls softball and basketball. It'll help everybody. So it's not just about the boys basketball, but once you fall in love with the community and you get vested, so to speak, I'm in. So I want what's best for these guys and for the community. I'm different, it's obviously, and because if the world was all the same, it'd be boring. And there's things I have to adapt to, and there's things that people here have to adapt to with me. Sometimes my bluntness is not welcome, but if I don't do it in a negative fashion, then we have to learn to be adults and agree to disagree.
And speaking to the dynamics of this region, okay, and we'll go back to last year, okay, right after we came back from the storm, okay, there was a particular game where, we're not going to say where, we're not going to say who, but where it was said it's turning into a football game. Now, I see the smile, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
This region, Henderson, Union, Crittenden, Caldwell, Trigg, Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville, Christian County, Hopkins Central, Madisonville, 10 teams have football teams. 10 schools have football teams. The only ones who don't, Dawson Springs, Heritage Christian, which is not technically in the region yet, UHA, Lyon County, 4. And the only one of those teams that don't get beat up by the football teams is Lyon County. And
UHA traditionally has competed pretty well.
And UHA has too. But they'll still get beat up. They'll still get knocked around and pushed around, shoved around and stuff. They'll beat you for it and make you like it.
Right.
But you're talking a different type of athlete at UHA.
Well, I mean, yeah.
These kids are, this year's edition of UHA is surprisingly fast. And they're quite physical too. They're not afraid to push people around. Like I said, you had Muhlenberg County screaming about their kids getting pushed around by UHA. But you don't see these teams go into Eddyville, and you don't see Lyon County go somewhere else and get pushed around, even though they don't have a football program. And the difference is those kids have been doing what the kids at Dawson are doing. They're going to CrossFit. They have been students of Corey down at Lake Barkley CrossFit. And a lot of these kids right here have and it's made a difference this year. Now, yeah, the kids at Dawson are getting pushed around, but not like they were last year.
Well, I got to give credit to Lyon County because they're the reason why we started doing CrossFit, because I started analyzing things and I was looking at the stuff that you brought up and I was like, what makes them different? And, Brandon Shoulders is down there, and Brandon's a friend of mine. I've known him all of his life, and I've followed his boys, with their success. And he talked to me about it, and I thought, you know what, we're not in our district. It'll be a few years to get this to where I need it to be. So I just point blank asked him, and he brought it up. So I honestly believe if we had not done CrossFit from March to Thanksgiving, I truly think we would have 0 wins right now. I believe that. I'm bought into it. I'm a fan of Corey's. We actually had an email today, a text conversation with parents today about the direction we're going to go this off season. And I'm pleased with the direction we're going. Obviously, when you're 5-12, in a perfect world, you are always got a winning record and everything's happy. But I'm pleased with their effort. I absolutely love my boys to death. I think they give me everything they can. Mentally, sometimes they drive me nuts. Mentally, sometimes and again, I can say this because it happened and the whole world saw it about right here. Rex, last night, he gets stuck. So I start dribbling again. That's just, he knows better. And he looked at me, and I knew he knew. And, it's just stuff like that. We beat ourselves a lot against the better teams, the bigger, better teams, because we get sped up. And, they know when we sit and talk about it, they know where they're supposed to go. But in the game, it just seems like the lights get them, the fans get them, and they just get out of whack. But, it's part of the learning process.
This season, you mentioned 5-12 record. It's already better than last year as far as wins go.
Correct.
And as I said at the top of the show, you got your first district win as a coach. These kids got their first district win. And they even got a retribution win this year. And
a road win.
On the road.
And we also had a winning streak of 2.
Yep. So there have been some things that have changed that has made a difference. Now, whether the millions of the fans in the stands want to see this, and yes, Dawson Springs has millions of fans, but whether or not that they want to see this team's year, if it ended today, would have been a success. Now, would it be where you want it to be? No. Do we expect the season to end today? Only if bats fly in here right now.
Well, I probably can handle the bats. You, on the other hand, we might have to call 911.
Yeah, we're probably, go ahead and dial 911, Chad.
I mean, I've been here when it's happened before. I've always thought, well, what happens if that happens in the middle of a game? But I think there's too many people, and knock on wood, hopefully it never happens. I don't need to see people running out of here.
But, no, all jokes aside, I mean, it has been. It has been a more successful season than last year. Now, do I feel like Dawson Springs has a few more wins in the can? Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll go back now. Now we're really going to step back here. You guys, over the Christmas holidays, now probably there was a lot of people who thought you had lost your ever-loving mind playing in the one tournament, but in the other tournament. Now, technically, they say you got 5th. I still ain't quite figured that out, how you get 5th when you win more than the 4th place team does.
Well, it's when you win your game. I mean, because if we'd have won our first game, then we get to go over to the winner side of the bracket.
Right.
Instead, we had to go to the consolation side of the bracket, and we won our 2 games there. But look, when it comes to that kind of stuff right there, for me, it doesn't matter whether it would have been 4th, 3rd, 2nd. My main objective is we have to keep focused on getting better every day. If I stray from that, then it does not go the direction we need it to go. And I know there's going to people going to call me a liar on this statement because you talked about both Christmas tournaments. I was more pleased with the 0-3 record in Henderson than I was with the 2-1 record in St. Mary's. And it's no disrespect to the teams we played in St. Mary's, but they are smaller schools. Mm-hmm. And
that was a really good warm-up, and this was something that I said. A really good warm-up for the All-A Classic. I absolutely love, you know this,
right.
I know you saw what I said.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the St. Mary tournament. Of course, I love the folks at St. Mary, and, of course, we got to see Ballard and Fulton and teams, and Carlisle, teams we don't normally see.
Right.
And I thought that was a really good warm-up. But I get what you're saying, and I'll let you finish about the Henderson tournament.
Well, the Henderson tournament, we came out, and again, we got in there, we're playing Henderson, and right off the bat, you can just see it. You can feel it, you can see it. They wasn't ready to play from the start. 50-18 at half, okay? 50-18. We do some adjustments, we talk about some things, halftime adjustments, and we go out there and we beat them the 3rd quarter. It's only 1 or 2, no big amount. But at one time in the 4th quarter or in the second half, we were actually ahead of them by 10 for the second half. So you got to be happy with that. Now, once we got to that spot, they had a kid come in off the bench, and it's 5 3-pointers in like 2.5 minutes, and then they beat us 17-5 the rest of the way. So, look, I'm going to keep playing Henderson every year. I'm going to keep playing Union every year, and I'm going to keep playing Webster every year. I'm going to keep playing that 6th district. In my mind, you got to play the teams at your size, but you also got to play those tough games because you can't get tougher if you're not playing tougher competition.
And that's exactly right. I mean, trying to think of where I want to go with that 6th district. The 6th district is a tough district. In fact, I missed one of the football teams, Webster County, another school with a football team. Because there's 15. I don't know why I got 14 there a few minutes ago because I forgot Webster. But each one of those teams is daylight and dark from each other. And they each bring something different to the table, something that Webster County is going to bring you something you ain't seeing at Henderson. Henderson's bringing you something you ain't seeing at Union. And Union ain't nothing like the other two.
Right.
And it's a tough district. I mean, I talked about that with the coaches up there. You have been a part of that district, having been at Henderson, grew up in Webster, and been at Union County. You know what this district is. Automatically, one of them gets a bid to the region tournament. And the thing is, all those kids know that, and they want that spot, and they fight for it. Except for one. He told me, he says, no, I'd rather have the dog fight.
Well, we got to play, we played Henderson, 6th district, and then we turned around and played Union County for the 2nd time. And the first time we played Union County, they jumped out on us 17-0. And this time we actually, from the start, they got up on us 11, but we took the lead. We actually had the lead, I think, 53-50 in the 4th quarter. And we ended up dropping that game, but it's a learning experience. I mean, if you've never played in close games, you don't know how you're going to react. Do you get a little tighter? Do you get nervous? Do you throw the ball away? Do you short on your shots because you're aiming instead of just being confident? And I understand all that. I mean, look, I understand that possibly my first 2 years, might not win 10 games combined. I knew that when I came into the situation. So I was pleased with that. And then we turned around and played McLean County, who last year made it to the regional championship game, and we had a lead on them in the fourth quarter. Or excuse me, at the end of the third. I apologize. And I was happy. I was happy with all that. That's three good teams, 3 well-coached teams. So it's going the right direction. I know that for a young team, they're frustrated because, I think we were 5-7. Now we've lost 5 in a row. And you can see it. But I'm still where I was before the season even started. I still have high expectations. We're still shooting to try to win as many games as possible, obviously. And you just go out every night and you compete. Our problem isn't effort. Our problem is execution. Last night, we didn't even shoot the ball for the first 4 minutes. Didn't even get a shot off for the first 4 minutes. And we were only down 8-0 once we scored. Okay, after 4 minutes playing against Madisonville, you think you'd be down 15, 16, maybe even 20-0. All right, they were fighting. And effort, no problem. We've got to learn to execute better, and we've got to learn to be mentally and physically tougher. Once we get to that spot, I'm going to be more pleased. Once we establish that with the younger kids, because our junior pros getting ready to start, it's going to be ran differently than what the people are used to. I'm sure there will be resistance to change, but that's why we're doing this, change.
Tom, let me stop you there. I hear some text in the background. I see some people online. Where can they, what number can they call or text questions to?
270-625-0179.
You want to check your phone. I did hear some text going off a little bit.
Okay.
Possibly.
Haven't gotten anything yet. Nothing yet. We talked about this last year, and I'll say it again this year. I talked about it with Travis Perry the other night in an interview, which if you haven't seen that interview, go watch that interview. It's
Already have.
very good. Travis
agree.
is very well spoken, and we talked about their little league. I think I know if you listen to it, you know what I'm talking
Right.
about. They have their high school kids are actually the coaches,
Right.
and it's brilliant. It's a diabolical plan by Ryan Perry to build the Lions from the bottom up. And that's how you do it, from the bottom up. Yeah, there's going to be resistance. People are not going to like it. There will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. But what is your priority here? Is your priority to continue what has been before, or start a spirit of winning?
Well,
Right here.
in my interview, I said I wanted to change our school into I wanted our school to be basketball-wise what football is to Mayfield. And, that's a well-oiled machine. And they start from the bottom and work their way up. Their kids know exactly what they're supposed to be doing fundamentally before they even get to Mayfield at the high school level. Their footwork's right. They know the lingo. I have nothing but the utmost respect for what Mayfield does in football. I really do, and I want that here. And I'm almost, and I told another coach just here in the last 24 hours, I'm obsessed with it. Not to the point that I want to be obsessed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do anything stupid. It's just
There's not going to be a chair flying across the floor.
no.
We're not Bobby Knight.
No.
in this.
I have a vision. I'm going to stick to that vision, and there will be resistance from people, say below me, so to speak, or above me. But I'm sticking to the plan regardless. We're going to take the junior pro a different level. It's not going to be about the trophies. It's not going to be about winning. We are going to start fundamentally. I want the little dribblers that once they get to a certain age, that when somebody's sitting here and they say, look at that kid, look at that kid. Well, I want it to be, look at those kids. And we're going to do it with the boys and the girls. I'm not going to back off any rules. Once we set the rules out, they will adjust to me. And there will be 0 complaints on the internet. If you get online, that's another thing we're going to start doing here. Parents to get online and complain about people here at the school, you won't come back. Come to us, not the internet.
Exactly. And that's something, in fact, while we're here, I want to address this. And you know, I've been holding back on this.
I wasn't trying to stir you. It's not the direction I was trying to get you to go, but it's your show, you do what you want.
For those who go on the internet, and I don't care what school you're at, I don't just see it at Dawson Springs.
Oh, no.
I see it at Caldwell.
It's everywhere.
I see it at Hopkinsville. I see it at Fort Campbell. Not at Fort Campbell as much. I think they kind of keep a thumb on them, but I've seen it at Henderson. If you have a problem with the coach, how about you go talk to the coach? Because I will tell you, your buddies and pals that you think are your friends on Facebook and other social media, they don't give a crap what you say. They're going to bob their heads up and down, yeah, because you said it. It does not make you right. And the only thing that you are doing as a parent, and I will call you out, keep it up, I'll call you out. As a parent, is you are breeding resentment within your kids and the other kids in the program towards the coaches who are trying to coach them and make them the best version of themselves on the football field, on the basketball court, on the track, on the baseball diamond, on the softball field. It's every single sport. The parents are the same. And if we didn't have kids watching, I would tell you exactly what I think of you. But we probably do. And you might get mad, and I might be your worst enemy. But guess what? I don't care. Grow up. Be an adult. That's what we are here. You got something to say about the coach? How about you come address the coach with that? Whether it be Mickey Blue, whether it be Will Barnes in Caldwell, or Daniel Kukahiko, or Ryan Perry, or I just went blank. Tyler Smithart in Henderson, or Coach Hodge in Crittenden County. If you've got a problem with that coach, go to the coach. Because the people on the internet are tired of hearing it. It's time to be adults. If your kid's not playing and you have a problem with that, why don't you ask the coach why your kid's not playing? Better yet, before you ask the coach, why don't you ask your kid why they're not playing? They probably could tell you, because I'm sure they've had the coach tell them.
Hey, your phone's getting lit up.
Sweet. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if I want to ask this question.
Well, if it's not going to cause any issues.
It's not going to cause any issues, but I don't know if I want to ask the question. Yeah, I am going to ask the question. Has that been a problem with you? There's the question. I'm not going to say who wrote it. Has that been a problem with you, with parents talking about you online? Because the question is, ask Mickey, has that been a problem with him, parents talking about him online?
Just twice.
And how did you address that? Probably better than I just did. I just went off on him.
I gave an answer that was politically correct. I didn't go old school. I thought it through, and they didn't like the answer, and they got online and changed the narrative.
That changed the question.
Well, they somehow it wasn't the same as the conversation, so to speak. You know, people are going to get emotional with their kids. I mean, I got emotional with mine last night. You know, back there.
Yeah, and we'll talk
just
about
that
that
another time. And you know, I get it. They love their kids, and but at the end of the day, I'm different, and it's not in your best interest to do that to me.
And that's not saying that in a threatening tone.
Oh no. I'm not. Listen, I'm not. Look, I'm getting older. You know, my martial arts training, when things happen now, it hurts a lot longer. You know, and so I have no desire to be in a physical situation. I'm just not going to take it. I mean, if you want a verbal joust, let's go. It's not going to be on the internet. It's not going to be where people can see it. You know, I'm not backing down from anyone on any situation when it comes to taking this team, this school, to a better direction. Again, you know, with everything that's happened since I've been here, I'm vested. We've got great students. We've got great teachers. We've got great faculty. I'm in a situation where I want to get them some more resources.
And to touch back here just a minute, when you became the coach at Dawson Springs, was it a group of parents that came to you and hired you for that job, or was it the school system itself?
The school system.
So the people you answer to really ain't the parents.
No, you want to have a good dialogue and good communication with the parents. I know going in, I'm gonna upset every parent somehow, some way. I mean, I upset Holly. You know, and we share that kid. So, you know, look, when you become a coach, you understand that you're making them better men. It's not about just being better basketball players. You're making them better men for life. And this way that society and media tries to take the direction it's going, it's not the right way. And we're going to have good young men that are great students that are trying to become great teammates. That's the direction we're going. And hopefully one day we can sit here and see Skylar win a regional championship. And if it happens before then, it's on my watch, great.
Sweet.
But the whole goal for me is to do whatever I can, somehow, some way, to help these kids get the facilities to help them compete. We're the smallest school, but Lyon County has proven that you can be a small school, and Mayfield has in football.
And just for instance, I mean, and we'll talk about this real quick, 90-81 today, Lyon County defeats North Laurel.
Yes.
And yeah, they've got a super talented player. And as we said in this interview the other day, this is it's a kid who's worked for it. Now, if anybody at Dawson Springs does not believe that these kids don't work for it, be here at 5 in the morning. No, I won't be here at 5 in the morning. Be here at 5 in the morning when these kids are out here putting the work in, putting the shots up. go to any school in this region, you'll see who's working, trying to be better.
Yep. You're right.
And that's something that I have to question. Was that here before Coach Blue got here?
I can't speak for Mr. Hicks. Okay?
Because I don't know. That's a legit question that I'm asking.
I don't know what Hicks could do with that group as far as the morning's concerned. He may have tried for all I know. And again, when you talk about Coach Hicks, you have to understand, even though it wasn't a winning record, he did get 13 wins here in one season. And even though the next season he got hit with COVID, Hicks, as far as recent history, that was a lot of wins for this place. I do know Burgett got him to come here in the mornings. I think his situation was more mandatory. Mine's more voluntary, because if they choose, and this is nothing against Burgett, I'm a fan of Burgett, we're friends. If they choose to do the work, then it's more meaningful than if they're forced to do the work.
Right. I mean, there are banners hanging in this gym. This is a team that's won the 7th district.
97.
Been a long time. This is a team that has been KHSAA state runner-up. Been even longer time.
Yeah, that was 46. That was a little bit before you and I.
That's a long time for me. But
I was actually negative 26 at that time.
I think I was negative 24. Class A runner-up.
97, 98, 99.
Three times.
Yeah.
This is something that is achievable goals. This is a goal that you guys could do this year, very possibly, because the All-A Classic in the second region, a toss-up.
Right now, our focus is strictly on Fort Campbell. And after that game, then we can switch focus.
And we'll talk about Fort Campbell. Fort Campbell came here. Fort Campbell gave you a whooping. It took them a minute. They gave you a whooping. Went to St. Mary, what happened?
That was Livingston Central.
You're right. It was Livingston Central.
Yes.
Livingston Central. A team that will be in the All-A.
That, if things go well, there could be a third matchup.
It'd be a third matchup with Fort Campbell too, though.
Yeah.
You're 1-1 this year against both those teams.
No, we're 2-0 against Fort Campbell.
You're right. Man, it's been a long season.
It's all right.
It has been a long. I've seen a lot of basketball this year.
You're okay.
But Fort Campbell's a tough matchup. You know this. God, you hate seeing a team third time a year.
See, this is where you irritate me. I hate that comment. And I told my boys that anybody that says that to them, to look them right straight in the eye and tell them to shut up.
There you go.
That's a wives' tale. I can go back and tell you when UK beat Alabama 4 times in 1 year. I don't buy into that. My team's not going to buy in it. And we're not going to talk about it.
There you go.
Next question.
District. Let's talk about the district here. You finally got the second game of Madisonville done. They're back up the road. Now you know there's a good possibility you might see them again. You might not. Who knows? Because there's still 2 other teams that's got to decide where everybody finishes. The 3 of y'all got to battle it out for second, third, and fourth. Because kind of looks like Madisonville might have this one in the bag. But who knows? Central could hop up and surprise North Hopkins. No, I'm not going that far.
Well, I
mean,
don't think that's as far-fetched as what some people may think. And this is nothing against Newton and North. I'm not knocking them. Frank's does a good job with the bunch that he has, and I like what they do. When you've got shooters on either right, you know, I'm 40 feet, 50 feet away, whatever, you know, the only thing that I ask, and this goes for every sport across the country with anybody that's officiating. My job as a coach is to tell my players and play hard every play, every second. And if I am telling my kids to do that, I expect the professionals to do the same. Are they going to be perfect? No. Are there going to be calls for both teams that's going to be questionable? Yes. Just stay engaged the whole game and stay consistent. That's it. You do that, even if something happens, I'm going to respect you. Thank you for doing what you do, because what you do is tough.
Yeah. I mean, referees catch it. It doesn't matter if we're in this gymnasium.
Oh, every gymnasium.
It's every gymnasium we go to. The referees are going to be, it's going to be people yelling at them, going to be people screaming at them.
But there should never be a reason for anybody to put their hands on the ref.
No.
Okay, that stuff that happened a couple of years ago to Mr. Culp, you know, that's crazy. And obviously it's happened other places. And, you know, you learn from mistakes. You know, I got heated once with a guy in an adult tournament in the year 2000, and people still laugh about it. But it made me realize, hey, all this stuff you like to do can be gone, just like that, because of a terrible, terrible decision. I'm thankful for that mistake. I'm thankful for that mistake.
Almost a half court, and he's sinking threes. And I'm like, I watch NBA players do this. And you know.
Well, see, let me stop you for a second there. Success copies success. So if the NBA players are doing it, and Rex got good advice from Rex Chapman when he was at a very young age about doing that exact same thing. Okay, you know what drives me nuts over on the bench sometimes? One of our bench players comes in, and the first three they see, they jack it. I mean, they're cold. They hadn't got in the game. I mean, you know, shoot a layup, shoot a mid-range jumper. I even tell Rex sometimes, don't make your first shot be a three. He don't listen too well sometimes because he sees it. But in his defense and Bird's defense, they still have the green light. So, you know, sometimes, you know, when you're our size, you got to hit a few threes.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you know, and Bird, that's a kid, you come down here, you watch him practice, and I think he could throw the ball from the flagpole and hit it.
Well, both those freshmen are special. They're special kids. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like all of our kids, and they're all special in their own way. But, you know, with Jackson, Bird, there's just situations there. You know, there's growth. There's still more growth for them. You know, I tried to learn from my mistakes with Rex and Gummy last year as freshmen, and I've tried to do things a little different with those two this year. You know, I don't want to repeat the same mistakes with Jackson and Bird that I had with Gummy and Rex. And I like the direction both of them are going. I'm sure Jax is a big adjustment because he's taking less shots and he's trying to learn how to be a floor general. And for him in his defense, you know, when you're a freshman and you're coming in, you're playing somebody like Madisonville, you know, they're longer, they're faster, they're bigger. That's a tough matchup for a kid that's, you know, just came out of junior high and he got to shoot more and he scored more points. Like today for the freshman, in the second game, I think he had 14 points, and he was hitting his little runners, and he was hitting some left-handed shots. You know, look, we're one year, maybe two, from watch out. If they stick with the process.
And that's the key. They've got to stick with the process. And that goes back to my little tirade a few minutes ago. Parents, quit getting in your kids' ears.
Well, look, when it comes, look, again, they love their kids, and I'm going to leave the parents alone, and we'll move on to something else here.
I won't.
For tonight, we're going to leave them alone after this comment. They like me, or they like their coach that they play for. Because these days, most kids don't play for people they don't like. That's just the way the world is right now. So, if you're sitting at the table bashing your kid's coach, that automatically sends bad vibes. So stay away from that and have your discussions with your spouse without your kids in the room. I know I'm not perfect. I know there's going to be people not like some of my decisions. I know I drive people nuts because of the lack of timeouts I call. But I have a rhyme and reason why I do what I do. And I don't have to explain it to the public. So everything I do has already been thought out. Already. Okay? Why am I playing this person here? Why am I doing this? Why is this person not playing? You know, there's reasons. Sometimes you don't play a kid to wake them up. Wake them up. Don't have to yell. Don't have to scream. But if they truly feel like they need to be in the game and they don't come into the game, they'll either A, come to you, or B, they'll start working harder. So we're overall, my group of parents, I'm pleased with them. I really am. And I hope they're pleased with me. So.
Yeah, like I said, don't talk about the parent, the coach in front of the kids. That's the point I was making in that, because it's not.
We're not talking about no more.
It's not cool. It ain't cool, Mick. You know I'm right.
Ask me something else. Anybody else ask a question?
I do want to take a 30-second time out to update some of my settings here. I got a commercial queued up. Can we do that real quick?
Yeah. And we are back, and we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We know it's 9:15 at night. Typically, we was doing these at like 3:30 in the afternoon, and we were doing them during the week. But we do appreciate each and every one of you who tune into this and into the many broadcasts that we bring. Of course, Mickey, I know you know that we have started doing a lot of live ball games, not only just from here. We were in Henderson last week with, what was it, Chad? We did 12 games last week in Henderson.
Something like that, man.
And it was like 12 games at St. Mary and Paducah the week before.
Yep.
And then there's been one this week. We kind of took it easy this week, but we'll be back. Of course, I was asked all day today, were we doing the game at North Laurel? No.
Yeah, everybody wants to see that one. I did too.
I wish that we could have, but we have to have sponsors. But so a lot of seasons still left. We're just about 2/3 of the way through. And I mean, January, February, and then we have playoffs. And then we play softball.
Yep.
So, anything that you have seen over these last few games, through the holidays, the game last night, any adjustments that you're seeing as a coach that you're going to say to the boys, say, Monday at practice, okay? All right, I've seen this. We need to try this to see if it works. Have you been picking up on anything that might need to be changed?
For us, it's not so much change other than focus and confidence on the plays we actually have. My group has a tendency to stare at that goal while I'm sitting over here talking. They get distracted a little bit, like there's a squirrel,
Are they pulling the Rain Man on you? Good Lord. Okay. College stuff.
I got you.
He's doing paperwork right now. I know that's what he's doing because it's that time of the year. But you're not doing your job as a coach if you're not prepared for the game.
Correct.
Speaking of coaches, have you been in touch with Coach Cal this year? Because last year we all know what.
You threw me a curveball. I wasn't expecting that one.
You didn't see that one coming.
No,
did you?
didn't see that one coming.
That was the slider, by the way.
Well, yeah, we'll see how well I do with that one. Yes, we still stay in touch. It's a situation where I think it's more about just being real with each other. I know he's taking some heat right now, and I get it. I'm sure he gets it. But at the end of the day, how many years of Kentucky basketball has there been? 110?
Yeah,
Maybe?
at least.
Okay, so if you're looking at 110 years and you are still you're one of the top schools in the nation, you've only won 8 championships in 110 years. And in 2023, Division I basketball players are more plentiful and more competitive across the 300-plus schools than it was 20 to 30 years ago. People have access to the internet about nutrition. If you're a kid right now and you say, well, I don't know how to do it, you're not trying. Because any video you want to help you on any exercise, any drill, is right there at your fingertips. So you have no excuse whatsoever.
And we know every one of them have one of these.
Exactly. So I don't think people look at the overall picture. You're talking about a Hall of Fame coach that has done some good things, and I understand that people are built different in Kentucky and the expectations are high. Are they high or are they unrealistic? All right? They're struggling, so to speak, right now. But if I remember correctly, didn't he take an 8 seed or a 9 seed to the championship game one year? Okay. Let's wait and see how it goes instead of sitting here trying to sacrifice the man. I have been blessed that we talk more about life than we do basketball. All right? I think, and you got to understand, we're Dawson, so there's nobody being recruited by him. All right? We don't have anybody right now that's going to Kentucky. There's nobody on Kentucky's radar. So he has no reason to sell me on anything. I truly feel like he's genuine with me. He gains nothing by our conversations other than us just having conversations. And as a man, take out the basketball part of it, as a man, I truly believe he does care about people. And when you find somebody that understands his position that he holds, and he knows how to help people. You know, he helped the eastern side of the state. He's helped this side of the state. He's still in contact. He could literally right now say, look, I'm busy. Don't send me any more videos from your kids. He wants those videos. He wants to see our kids. You know, he did a great thing with Trevor. You know, when Trevor found out that he got to be, that he was making varsity, Cal, you know, did a video with him. Now Trevor hung up on him. Trevor's eyes got so big. And here's a shout out to Travis Perry. Me and his dad were trying to work it out that Travis was going to hand him the jersey, but we could never get on the same page to make it happen. But in the end, it ended up being the better thing for Trevor. Because Trevor's a big Travis Perry fan, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So we asked Trevor, we put him on the spot. Sorry, Travis. We put him on the spot and said, well, would you rather have Travis or are you okay with Coach Cal? He said, oh, yeah, Coach Cal. So, you know, he didn't have to do that. You know, wasn't out there on the news. You know, it's just kind of in our little social media groups. I just think overall he's a good person. And I want him to leave UK when it's on his terms. And I need people to understand that, you know, and I may be wrong about these stats because when Holly texted me, I thought it was halftime. She said that two of the main players on the team had 0 points. How is that coach's fault?
It's not.
I'm going to make this very clear.
But the 1.5 million Division I college coaches that live in the state of Kentucky know best over the one who's been hired to do the
That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, when a kid plays a game, whether it's junior high all the way up to college, you cannot complain if you're not getting the ball. You cannot complain that the reason why you don't score is because of other players. You can literally score 16 points a game and never get the ball past you. One put back a quarter is 8. One steal a quarter, you take it all the way to the rack, is another 8. So there's 16 points and nobody even threw you the ball. So hustle's free and offensive rebounds is hustle.
Are even more free.
Well, they're hustle. I mean, you got to go get them. You know, so I'm just not a big fan of, and I used to do it to aggravate the UK fans because I used to just, you know, just wear them out just because I wanted to be the heel, so to speak, aggravating people. I actually had quit doing that for a while, even before I met Kyle, and I really don't do it now. And I think when sometimes you might not want what you think you want. And I think you better think this through real clear if you try to run this man out of town. Because you remember what you had before him.
Yeah, it's been,
you know, Mr.
There was a few sad years.
Well, look,
there was a few sad years after Tubby. There were a few sad years before Tubby.
well,
and there was a few sad years before Coach Cal.
well, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have all the answers by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's time to stop getting on the internet, bashing him. Let's see how the season plays out, and then go from there. Give the guy a chance because he's proven, hey, I can get there with an 8 seed. Mm-hmm. That was young at the time, obviously.
Agreed.
So anything can happen.
Now, we was talking about this before the show today, and this is of particular interest to you. Here comes another curveball.
Sound guys over laughing already.
Everyone knows you went to Webster County High School.
Yes.
Sadly enough. Just kidding. Just kidding. But you still have a relationship with people you knew from Webster County. And one of those is one Brandon Shoulders, which I'm going to take Travis's cue here. Shout out to Brandon Shoulders because I like Brandon. I talked to him last night. Last night, his son, his second son,
Yes.
the younger one, scored his 1,000th career point in his junior season. Now, Jackson, about this time last year, scored his 2,000th, and, I mean, God, the rebounds. But something that Ryan Perry and I was talking about last night, and we'll talk about the Lions here for just a minute. Travis Perry is coming up on 4,000 points. Jackson Shoulders scored 2,000 in his career. Brady now has 1,000, and Jack Reddick, depending on how many he scored today, I haven't seen that total. I know at the start of the game, I think he was about 37 away from his 1,000. It's quite remarkable in a 4-year stretch that you have that number of points from players. I mean, is that the coach's dream or what?
Yeah, I mean, every coach, you would love, I mean, I tell my guys all the time, you don't have to be superstars. And in my opinion, those three could be considered superstars. I don't think that's a stretch. But for me, when I talk about high school wins, you score 75 points a game, you're going to win a lot of ball games. So you better play defense, but 75 points a game will win you a lot of games at the high school level.
Yeah, as long as you're not giving up 85.
Exactly. So the starting five, let's just use the starting five, say you're not getting anything from your bench. Starting five, can you score 15 a game? Because 5 times 15 is 75. They got three guys that's right at 20. You got Travis, it's at 30. The other two are right there at the 20 mark. So, you're looking at 30, 20, 20. There's 70 points right there for three guys. All right, that's not counting the other two and the ones that come off the bench.
And that's not including what Lucas Breedlove might throw in. It's not Bray Kirk. I mean, and these are your freshmen that I was talking about
Right.
earlier that might score 20 points or they might lay an egg tonight.
No, when you get a group of people that done it with this group at a young age and done it the right way, because you got to give Lyon County community and Brandon and Collins and all those guys a lot of credit. They started this a long time ago. I'm pretty sure when these kids were in like 5th and 6th grade, they went to Houston and won a tournament, or they played in a tournament in Houston. This is a special group, and I drove up to watch them at the King of the Bluegrass when they played LaRue, and that was a lot of fun. So I respect what they do there. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope the boys keep having success. We try to emulate some of the stuff that they're doing. Obviously, it's going to take us a while.
Of course, I mean, now Brandon is their middle school basketball coach.
Yes.
So as soon as these kids come out of the little leagues and junior pros and stuff,
They go to Brandon.
they come to Brandon. So it starts right there with him. What? I'm going to go ahead and ask. I ain't asked him yet, but I'll ask him. I'll let you answer. Where'd that come from?
I don't think a lot of people understand. Brandon went to Murray and walked on for a year. Okay, it's not like he, doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
Brandon's a humble guy. Brandon's got good parents. He was a heck of a hard worker on trying to make money as a kid. He detailed cars. He's never been a lazy type of guy. You know, he's just a good dude, and he's got good genes. You know, and then he's obviously passed it down to his boys, and he's just, you know, when you try to do things right all the time, and again, nobody's perfect, and I'm sure there's things that he wishes about himself that, like you and I, that he wish he could make better. But from the outside in, if you don't like Brandon Shoulders,
something wrong with you.
something wrong with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's super likable. But what I was trying to get you to say was the work. Putting in the work.
Did I not say
no,
that?
As a player on the court.
I'm going to wear you out right
Listening
now on
to-
national TV.
Listening to the coaches,
Sound guys laughing.
right? Listening to the coaches.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. And he, you know, he just, you know,
And I
he
mean,
does it right.
Brandon is a quality coach. And he come from the same school you did.
Well, I mean, you look
There's no disconnect between the two of you guys.
When you start talking about connections, okay, we're going to get, since you downed my alumni a while ago.
I have no problem with Webster County, you know.
You threw a dig at him. We're giving Brandon props, Webster County, helping with the Lyon County program. Joy Davenport's at Henderson. Okay, where'd John Newton come from?
No. Did he?
You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
He graduated from Webster County.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and he did quite well at Webster. See, people need to understand, once John left Webster and he came to Madisonville, he's in a spot now that he's got thoroughbreds. And once the thoroughbreds bought into his work ethic, that nothing against his previous teams, but this team that he's got now, in my opinion, plays harder than his other teams. It took him, what is this, his third year with them now? Third or fourth? They play hard. All right? You need to watch out. Because if he keeps getting the thoroughbreds and they stay the way they're doing, I don't know how long he's planning on coaching. But you might see a run from him that rivals nobody. See, that's why I have to push our guys, because I know what's capable over there just right down the road. And that's not easy. And I didn't come here to play second fiddle
To John Newton.
well, not John, just anybody in general. All right, you know, John does a good job. He knows what he's doing. He's passionate, and he just, you know, he's got them going the right way. He really does.
Back early in the season, you sent me a message one night, and you asked me, did I check out the Webster County connection that night? Davenport at Henderson had scored over 20 points.
Oh yeah.
Rex had over 20 points. And Brady Shoulders had over 20 points.
So they all had good nights that night.
They all had good nights that night. I mean, you know.
Good for them.
And I'm going to tell you, it's amazing. And the Davenport kid, good Lord, man. Good Lord. I mean, he reminds me, you know, he's smaller than what Drake Skeen is. But where Drake could drain threes all night, I don't leave that kid open.
I think.
Don't leave Davenport open. Don't leave Brady Shoulders open. Don't leave Rex Blue open. You do, they're going to drain them eventually. It's going to happen.
Well, I'm proud of those two kids. Obviously, I'm hoping Rex continues to improve. Rex's expectations this year were higher than mine, and I'm sure right now he's a little wounded because, you know, he struggled here recently, but the effort's there. And the work ethic is still there. So I love my boy. I understand what I've got with him. And for him to be in the same sentence with those other two, I appreciate that. I didn't know you was going that direction. But Rex, and he'll hear this and he'll see this, he can't lose focus on what the main goal is for him. Don't compare yourself to Cooper. Don't compare yourself to Shoulders. Compare yourself from the day before. All right? That's the direction I want him to go.
Be Rex Blue.
Yeah, be Rex. Don't be me. Don't be anybody but yourself, and do what it is that you need to do. I mean, he's a 4.0 student. I'm very proud of his academics, like his older brother, Mickey Jr. Mickey just graduated from Brescia, a semester early. That was the thing that I was not going to allow. Even if they never played sports, I was going to make sure my kids were smart academically. And knock on wood, they've done a much better job than I anticipated, and I love them both for it. But at the end of the day, when it comes to those type of players, Rex still has some work.
But like I said, going back to the Webster County connection, even without the dig, and I only did the dig because you're sitting here, you know that. I do have the utmost respect for Webster County.
Did you know that they let me do radio with them other night?
No, but I knew that you used to do radio.
I used to do radio for them, and I still say that helped me. And I got to see Newton do a lot of things during that time period. I got to see former coach of the girls team, Brandon Fisher. I learned a lot from those two. I really did. And,
I mean, I didn't realize that there was that many connections in this region to that one school as far as coaches.
Yeah. Webster County loves their basketball. There's no doubt about it. They love their basketball. We've never been able to go to a state tournament for the boys. The girls have been to 3 or 4, maybe 5. But they always have to battle Henderson. And obviously we know what kind of machine Coach Hale has there and what they do there at Henderson.
And props to Coach Hale for getting his, 900th win this year?
I thought it was 1 millionth. I didn't know.
That just recently happened before Christmas. He got a milestone win, and hats off to him.
Oh,
just a super guy.
Oh yeah, and when I was working at Henderson, he had conversations with me, him and Phil Gibson, who recently passed away. Phil was a good coach, good basketball mind. So, look, I am proud of Webster. I love the people in Webster. I love the kids in Webster. But I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. Speaking of coaches, young Burgett in Trigg County.
Yes.
How proud of him are you?
I couldn't be happier for him. We had some early conversations. He critiqued my team. I critiqued his. We bounced stuff off each other. We share video and stuff with each other, which I think all of us in the region, we all know we're going to share video. We all know that because we're all trying to beat each other. We're all trying to be prepared. So it's not like we're going to hide anything. Right. So, I wish the best for them. I'm not a guy that wants what you have. If you're making $1 million, keep making $1 million. Good for you. We're only enemies for 32 minutes.
Right. I mean, of course, Mason has that connection here, and with his dad, and it's good to see him come back here because the people know him.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, whenever you guys had him in for the scrimmage, I mean, Jaden Vaughn always going to put on a clinic if he gets the chance, and it's amazing. That kid's amazing. There are some amazing athletes in this region. I saw one of them the other night down at Paducah, Antonio from down in Hopkinsville.
Yes.
Good Lord, that kid can fly out of the gym.
Yeah.
And I mean, Elijah Walton from UHA.
Well, Region 2's always been, as far as me, my memory all the way back to 84. From 84 to now, Region 2's not, we're no slouch. You know, I would have, you know, I think you and I have talked about this before, where we'd like to have region all-stars versus region all-stars and have a Sweet 16 that way.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we talked about that at the end of the year last year when I picked the all-region team.
Yes.
I think that would be something that would be great because I really, truthfully don't know how many other regions could hold up to this one.
Well, you know, Louisville obviously would be tough, Lexington would be tough, but at the end of the day, you know, you take Coach Perry, you know, he won the region last year, you put him in charge of it, you let him do his coaching staff, and then they get the coaching staff together, and they get together, and they pick the teams. When you do something like that, somebody's always going to say, well, so-and-so should have made it, okay? That's the way it's going to be.
Exactly. There's always, you're going to
But
have that.
I would trust that system with our group, because then you would be like, hey, we're playing for pride here. You know, then guess what happens? Everybody in the region comes and watches that thing, cheering for
Everybody.
You know, you bring a lot of people together with that idea. So you need to figure out a way to do it.
I put that right on my list with everything else that we're doing. But well, I'm going to tell you what, we've actually been, how long we been at this tonight, Chad?
Hour and 34 minutes.
About an hour and a half.
That's not our record, trust me. No, I'm glad to catch up with you. And again, I hope people understand.
I mean, we love doing this show.
Oh, it's fun.
Both of us. I mean,
it's fun, and you know, and we'll keep doing it. And as long as I'm here, as long as you want to do it, as long as it makes sense, you know, it's fun, and we get to talk about people that we know, and you know, bringing up the Webster County thing. I just hope people understand when they see me over here on the sidelines. People did not like me on the ball field or on the basketball court because I am a competitor to a fault. All right? I don't want to lose, period. So I love this challenge of coming to Dawson and getting this thing ready for Skylar. I absolutely love it. So if you don't like me because of what you see here, let's go have lunch or breakfast and see if you still don't like it.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, of course, you and I have had a relationship where we have talked a lot. There's a lot that you guys don't see that goes on behind the scenes conversations about what we're going to do on the show, or about, you know, different things that we're seeing throughout the region, different things, softball tournaments. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff.
Right.
An hour and a half shows nothing, trust me. But and I will admit, there are days that he'll say things to me and I'll go.
Well, to be honest with you, okay, I'm going to bring up two things. When we first started this show, I thought I was going to pull a heel move, which you would call in wrestling, and I was going to mess with you. I chose not to do it. I may do it in the future, so just so you know, so don't freak out when you see it. Remember this night. Second thing is I want to talk about last night, and I know we need to get out of here. I originally had planned that we were going to foul them 70 times. They were going to shoot 116 free throws. This is no lie. This is straight truth. My goal was, hey, my 10 on the bench.
He's not lying.
My 10 on the bench was going to foul out, and the 5 starters was going to get 4. And I was going to make them shoot free throws all night long. Well, when I look on there and I see that one of the referees is coming from 117 miles. And
that would have been a long 117-mile drive.
And then he's on the crew next week. No, sorry, my ego's not going to trump that. Because if I'm him, even though you're not supposed to do this because you got to stay professional, there might be a technical next week in my future if I was, you know. So
might even be an ejection.
yeah, no, I can't do an ejection again. That was that 3 games just that hurt. So I plan on never getting another ejection. I don't want no part of it.
Yeah.
It sucked. I learned my lesson. It sucked.
Yeah. But well, folks, I tell you what, we have enjoyed.
4,000 people online. I'm sure they got questions still. If you want to check your phone.
Yeah, if you want to end it with some questions, I'm okay with that.
And
If not,
no, I tell you what, I don't have any questions. I've got one comment, and I'll tell you that offline. It's neither here nor there. But I got you, and you know who I'm talking to. I got you. I'll answer you back in a minute. But the thing is, we do appreciate your time. We appreciate Chad's time. Chad didn't have to come out tonight. Chad come up to go ahead and film this. As you can tell, this is a little different than what we normally get. And I mean, now I'm formulating a plan, since he wants to be the heel. That is, if there is ever a tie ball game at the end of regulation, before the kids can play an overtime, the 2 coaches have got to come out and they've got to get in this circle and they got to wrestle it out, and whoever goes out the circle first wins the tip-off.
Well, here's the thing on that situation.
Somebody's getting an elbow.
The reason why there's so many coaches on the other benches in the region is because that's how many it takes in case I get out of hand.
That's how many it takes to pull you off of them, right?
Well, we make that joke all the time because people look over and it's just me and Skylar, and you look over and there's a whole city with Madisonville and a whole county over there with Webster, and you know, even Livingston Central has like 6 or 7.
Lyman County's got.
You're sitting there and
as I introduced, who was it last year? A whole fleet of coaches.
yeah, and I just tell them, that's the running joke, is that's how many it takes to take care of me in case I get out of hand. But
you look down the bench, and the first 8 spots are actually coaches. And then there's like 3 players on the bench.
Well, last year when Madisonville was here, I made them all crack up and laugh because it was our first game back from, I'm sorry, it was the last game before the break.
Yes. Yeah.
We're sitting here, and they're all jumbled up right there in that one spot, and they're way past the box. And the game was out of hand, and I looked down there as serious as I can, and I said, Brett, they're out of the box. And I said it as serious as I could. And they got up laughing. And at the time, Newton had a Webster County boy on his bench as a coach, and he really got a kick out of it because I did his radio, Mason.
Yeah.
And so I'll cut up, and I'll even cut up with the fans. But if they come at me, they need to understand. Sometimes I'm not so nice. So, but if I died tonight, I've been blessed. I've had a good life. I've got a good family. I was raised right. I've got to play sports. I've been all around the country, either playing basketball or softball. Now I'm getting to do something that I love. These chapters. See, we call our season chapters. Every 3 games a chapter. We try chapter 1. What were we? 1 and 2, and then 0 and 3, and then 2 and 1, and we're right now in the 6th chapter, and we need to win this game to close out the chapter because we're 0 and 2 in this chapter. So it's like a long book, and but I got people like you, people I grew up with, people I've met. I truly believe if somebody ran a movie about my life and some of the most crazy stuff that I've been witness to, it would almost mirror Forrest Gump. I'm not lying.
How did I know that's where you were going?
Well, you know, I just watched that movie again the other night. And that's you know, that and Shawshank Redemption. I watch those two movies all the time. But
You've got to watch the cut scenes of Shawshank Redemption.
I have. I have.
If you have not,
Yeah.
hearing Morgan Freeman laugh the way that he did.
You know what's funny? Do you remember the electric company?
Yes.
He was on that. He was part of that.
Oh my Lord, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, and you know, the electric company was Spider-Man, and then what's funny about that? That was my favorite segment of the electric company. I always wanted to see Spider-Man, and Rex's favorite superhero is Spider-Man.
There you go.
So it's crazy how things like that work. So, but Dawson fans, stay patient. Keep coming out and support the boys and the girls and all sports. We'll get there.
He don't need y'all to beat up on him. That's my job.
So, but again, like I said, I'm thankful for the opportunity. I texted Mr. Whalen last week, and I said I appreciate what y'all have done with me. It's not easy in this day and age to deal with a guy like me. I get it, but I'm real, and when I make a mistake, I'll own it. I will say I'm sorry when I need to and when I'm supposed to. And as you grow, you got to learn to be able to say, "Hey, I was wrong." And they've been good to me here, and hopefully they're pleased with the direction we're going.
And I tell you, with that, we will close this story out. And we do appreciate everyone that has tuned in tonight. 6,000.
We're still online. How can they follow us for the next week or two?
Well, what they need to do is they need to hit that subscribe button on that YouTube page.
You need me on more often, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
The money maker.
Mickey Gump.
What's the page called that they can find?
It is youtube.com at the West Kentucky Sports Network without the "the" in it, so it's at West KY Sports Network. You can find us on Facebook at West KY Sports Network, and follow us on Twitter at West KY Sports Net. So we are doing a lot of stuff on social media now that we weren't doing before. There's, of course, the live games that we're doing. Where Chad goes, sets up the cameras, we have multiple views. You're not going to get that from the other people who do games. That's exclusive to us. And we even show the coaches losing their minds.
And you might be doing some softball this summer.
And we will definitely be doing some softball and baseball this summer. And we are really looking forward to that. I know you and I talked about that the other day.
Yep.
I think it'll be something great that would be totally different than what we're seeing around here. And, of course, that's very dear and dear to your heart. And I see you're wearing your softball shirt today.
Yes, I'm getting ready to start working on the girls' stuff. I've got to get back to the coaches because, unfortunately, and no fault of anybody here, unfortunately, because these things take time, we're not going to be able to have any home games again this year. And I'd already made like a 24-game schedule, so I've got to reach out to the coaches and kind of change that up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I hate it for the girls, but you know what? They get to play.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the thing is, there will eventually be
A bigger,
better and better facility.
yes, sir.
And that is, stay tuned. Stay tuned. They're doing the best they can with what they've got to work with. And God willing, maybe next year.
Amen.
So anyhow, you guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Mick, thanks for being here. And can't wait till we do this again.
Me too. I appreciate it.
All righty, buddy. And Chad?